So if you want to see how to get from this to this, then you will need to follow these layering steps. Okay, as you can see, everything is held out at 90 degrees to the head. So I'm going to start off showing you step by step how to create this look. And first of all, you need to decide where you want the shortest bit to be. Now, I've decided to cut my client's hair on dry, just so that we can see what it looks like dry, and then I'm going to wet it down and style it after. So decide how short you actually want the hair to be, and then you're going to section off the hair from ear to ear. So I'm making kind of like a circular section, keeping the back section away for the moment. You can bring that forward at the end, especially if the hair is very long, but at the moment my client just wants layers put round the face. So all of that hair at the front, we're going to kind of bring it into the centre and cut. So that's a circular line at the back. Now taking the first section of hair just at the front. So we've got like a middle panel that I am going to comb through, and make sure the head of your client is tilted up, and you're going to decide how much you actually want the hair, how much hair you actually want to come off. So make sure the head is tilted up, and you're not tilting it left or right. You're cutting it exactly where the nose is. So you're pulling it out 90 degrees to the head, all the way forward to the nose. And that's a dead straight line in my fingers. I'm not lifting it up or angling it down. It's completely parallel to the top of the head. So that there, I'm going to use as my guideline. Now pick whichever side that you want to work on. I'm just going to work on this side first of all, and I'm going to take small sections. Now you can pull everything to the guideline if you want. So you can pull everything to the nose. I'm going to slightly over exaggerate that towards me a little bit, just because I want it to be a little bit longer at the front. So I've pulled that slightly to me, but I'm still following the same guideline which I had in my fingers. So I'm going to take another section now, and I'm going to comb that all up. Yet again, you could comb that to the centre where the nose is, but I want to keep it a little bit longer around the sides. If I kept it centre, I'd probably find that I'm taking too much off. So I'm not taking hardly anything off that last bit there, so I'm keeping the length. So when people want to keep their hair longer, this is a really nice way to layer the hair. Now once I've done the right hand side, I'm going to do exactly the same to the left hand side. I can just check there that it is shorter, gradually getting longer. So that's the first incision there, and it gradually gets longer as it goes down, and it blends into the length at the bottom. So I'm going to take the same amount of hair on the opposite side, and I'm going to comb it slightly over towards the camera. So I'm pushing it away from me, but the head should still be up. And I'm combing it 90 degrees to the head, nice and parallel, but then pushing it slightly away. There's my guideline there in the tips of my fingers, and I'm cutting it 90 degrees, just straight. Got one more section left to do. And like I say, you can keep it dead centre, but I just want to try and take off as little as what I can on that side from the length. So we have got here the layers left and right. I'm just going to check it. And I'm just going to point cut into some of the areas, just so it's not so thick. So we want it kind of more feathered. So every bit of hair now, just follow the same guideline and just point cut into it as much as you want. You could use your thinning scissors as well on the end, which will be a bit easier, a little bit more quicker as well. And what I do on the left hand side, I'm then going to repeat on the right hand side as well. So at the moment, if her hair was straight, you wouldn't really see the layers that well because the hair is straight. But if you was to curl the hair, maybe just slightly putting it under or flicking it out, then you would get to see the look. And this is what I tell my clients all the time. It's like, I can put the layers in, but you've got to do the work at home. So make sure you teach your clients as well how to create that curl at home so that they can get the exact same result as what you get. So I'm just checking now, making sure it's blended in nicely. It does look a little bit straighter there. Maybe my angle could have been a bit different, one side compared to the other. So we've just got to match it up now. So there we go. We've got some layers around the front. And obviously if she wanted them to start a bit shorter, then I would have taken more off. So there we go. It looks nothing when it's straight. It's like, you want layers? Okay, around the face, that's okay. I've given you layers. But now you've got to do the hard work and actually get it styled. So I'm going to wash my client's hair. I'm going to put some products on. That there was the Wow Dream Coat, which I like to use. And I've got the perfect setting there, EIMI, which will give it a little bit of hold. I tend to use that on most of my clients. The first one, the Wow, doesn't smell of absolutely anything, but it does hold in the humidity, so it stops it fluffing out and tends to last longer the next day. If your hair is quite fluffy, I would recommend maybe using like a silk pillowcase or a silk bonnet to wear to stop it going fluffy in the night and makes it last a bit longer. This is the brush that I'm using, and it is a Olivia Garden. And I think the size there is 65. It's a massive brush, but I absolutely love this brush. It really dries it quicker and also gives fantastic root lift with a little bit of curl at the end. Remember, the bigger the brush, the less curl you're going to get. You're going to get more root lift. The smaller the brush, you'll get more curl. So what I'm going to do now is just show you how to blow dry the client's hair. Obviously we never blow dry from 100% wet. We just rough dry it off until it's at least 75% dry. You know, you would never do it to your own hair. You'd always maybe put it in a turban for half an hour before actually drying your hair, so you get all your makeup done while it's in the turban. So I'm going to start with the blow drying process now. So I'm going to section the hair, separating the top section away. I'm actually going to dry this a little bit different. Normally I dry or section the hair into 3 or 4 sections, but I'm just going to do the back section this time, trying to make sure I get enough root lift in there. Make sure that you shake it at the roots and really try and dry the roots without burning the client's scalp. I take it section by section, and like a brick wall, I start at the bottom and I work my way up the head. Once I've done the first section, I'll go on to the second. Yet again, really getting in that root lift. You can add more product here if you wanted to as well. But I really like this big round brush. Even on my own hair, I really like the bigger the better when drying the hair. So I'm doing the back 2 sections here, getting them nice and dry, nice and smooth. You can round it off at the ends. And then my final bit of hair here. Now when I go on to the front section, I'm going to do it slightly different so that we're working in panels coming forward. So in order for me to do this on the next section, I'm going to need to spin the client around and work from a different direction from them. So at the moment I'm just doing the back section here, and then I'm going to spin my client around so that I can do the front section. So it's a little bit knotty because I've brushed it backwards now. I've got to brush it forward, so it's going to take a while, just using my flat paddle brush there to get that out. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate this into 3 sections. So I've got 2 sections on the side, and I've got 1 section in the middle, and I'm just going to clip my section away in the middle. So this is my side section. So like I say, I've got a massive brush there. I can get that whole side section onto my brush. And I'm just going to blow dry that like you normally would, making sure we give it enough root lift. Now when I blow dry this, I can roll it under, which means the hair on top of the brush going forward, but I'm actually going to go the opposite direction. So I'm rolling it backwards with the hair on top of the brush. Now I'm keeping it nice and hot on the hair. Now the trick with the hairdressing rolling is making sure that you keep it really, really hot. And then on your last one, you're going to turn the hairdryer to cold. So you kind of cool it down a bit. So once I've done the right hand side, I'm then going to do the left hand side exactly the same. So like I say, that's a whole section on this brush. It doesn't take as long. So keeping it nice and smooth, smoothing down those cuticle scales, giving it a great shine as you're blow drying. Root lift where possible so that it lasts longer, it doesn't stay greasy. And then I'm flicking the hair over the back of the brush and I'm blow drying it in the opposite direction, keeping it nice and hot, and then making sure right at the very end I change the hot to cold so that it sets in its newly formed position. So that's when the hydrogen bonds in the hair go from alpha to beta keratin. Now this middle section is slightly different. This is a one that we want to kind of create a little bit of something on. So with my clients, I actually show them, I'm like, you can do whatever you want with the sides, but this middle section, I really want you to focus on this. So I don't care if you rough dry off the back and the sides to my clients, just this middle section. You're going to have 3, possibly 4 sections there that I really want you to focus on. Put the product on and take your time doing this. So I'm going to start at the back because it's hard to start at the front and then work your way backwards unless you're standing the other way. But because I cut it coming forwards, I want to blow dry it coming forwards. So yet again, I'm having the hair on top of the brush going backwards, keeping it nice and hot, and then right at the very last minute I blast the cold on it. Now with this, you could leave the brush in for a bit longer before moving on to the next section. That there was a section clip, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put in one of those Velcro rollers, and I'm just going to roll it back, give it a little bit of a pinch in the middle so that it doesn't doesn't fold over, and then I'm just going to support it with one of those silver section clips there. Then I'm going to do another section. Yet again, don't pick up what is underneath. You're going to keep it separate. That's quite difficult to do as well. So trying to get the root lift in there, keeping it nice and smooth. If you do have maybe a hot air brush that blows air out of it, that might be a good tool to use. Yet again, because I cut the hair forward, I'm blow drying it forward, just rolling it back on my brush, get it nice and hot, and then blast the cold on it so it sets. Yet again, I'm going to get my Velcro roller. You can use any size Velcro roller. This is obviously a green one. I've got bigger yellow ones as well. But the bigger the roller, the more volume. You get less curl with big rollers. So that there is the second roller. And then the very final section, I would do exactly the same. So with my clients, I can't stress to them enough how important it is that they just do those 3 rollers in the middle. And it will make such a difference to their hair. Even if the rest of their hair is poker straight and they can't do anything with it, get these 3 rollers done here. So this is my last one now. Just going in. And, you know, you could wait a couple of minutes, just allowing the hair to cool. I'm just going to spray some hairspray on it. And then starting at the back, because that is the first one that I put in, I'm just going to remove that. The Velcro rollers do feel like they pull on the hair. So be really gentle with your client. And the final one, taking it out as well. So as you can see, you don't get a massive curl from the rollers. It is the root lift that you're getting. And I'm just going to spin my client back. And you can use your fingers to separate this, but I just use a good old-fashioned paddle brush just to brush through, because the client doesn't want to see a definite parting. And then you get that as lovely loose curls and a nice smile on the face as well. So it is something a little bit more voluminous on there. You can see the layers that I've cut in now compared to when it was straight. So this here is the finished look. Like and subscribe if you want more.